Hello, my flock. The Badraven back again. And we told you that me and Andrew, my boy, are going to do the worst of 2017.
Yeah.
And I want to say up front, even though I say the worst, there's some of these movies I wouldn't consider horrible movies, but I don't know how to say the ones I was disappointed, I guess. I don't know. But some of them are really bad toward the top.
Some of them are really, really bad.
To compile the list, I had to put some on there that I had reviewed and said they were kind of okay, but I had to put them on there. So I to my family, I probably won't be welcome back on some of these. So I'm sorry, but this is just my opinion. Even everybody out there, these are my opinions of what's the worst. It's just like the other one, the best was my opinion. Mm-hmm. Doesn't mean whatever you like is not a good movie. To me, this is what, to my thoughts about the movie is what I feel.
Yeah.
And Andrew, we've not looked at each other's list. No. I don't know what he's put. He don't know what I put. Just like the last video. So I'm going to start this one out this time since you started the last time. Okay.
Okay.
This is the worst movies of 2017, in my opinion. All right. All right. My number 10. We'll start from the very end. Spider-Man: Homecoming. Now, that's what's going to be the one that's probably going to get me kicked out of a lot of parties at my family. Because there's a lot of family members that like this movie. And in my review, I did say it was just okay. But as far as the kind of movie, Andrew can tell you, I didn't buy this movie for Black Friday.
Exactly.
And it was cheap, people. It was cheap. Was it?
It was really cheap.
So that tells you a lot of whether I think I'm ever going to watch this movie again. And I'm not taking anything away from Michael Keaton's performance. I still stand by his performance was good in this movie, and it was cool to have a villain that wasn't have superpowers. He had his own little suit. But then, and I take nothing from Tom Holland as Spider-Man. I still like him as Spider-Man. I just did not like the movie. I didn't like the supporting cast whatsoever. His best friend, his potential girlfriend, and the new MJ. Not that they ain't good actors. I just didn't like them in this movie. I think they were totally miscast. I thought they totally missed the mark with Spider-Man. Yeah. They took the cool factor out and showed us stuff that, I thought was very, I don't know what you could say. Iron Man was in this movie, but sparingly. And then they showed too many daggone trailers, and they gave away too much of the story. So, that is why it's number 10 on my list.
All right, my number 10 is the exact same, Spider-Man: Homecoming.
That was odd.
Yeah, it's the same reason as him. It was just, for me, this is my least favorite Spider-Man movie ever. Because and this is a feat because I did not like the regular Amazing Spider-Man movie.
I did.
I know he did, but I'm talking about the first Amazing Spider-Man, just the Amazing Spider-Man. I really didn't like that one that much, and this one's got to be my least favorite because it was just very boring. It was just very bland. It was just very, very bland, and you could just tell it was Sony. You could just tell, Spider-Man didn't do that many amazing stuff in it. The only thing he did was really just, picked up an elevator or something like that, or, had, a string, his swinger web on an elevator, maybe pulled it up, maybe, glide off the...
Pulled a ship together.
And maybe, jumped off the side of, a monument. And that was about it. It really wasn't that interesting.
Yeah, an airplane. He kind of pulled an airplane around. And
that was about it. And then, I swear, Tony Stark as Iron Man was just... He was just thrown in there at the last second, in my opinion, because he really didn't even show up much up in the movie. And I thought a lot of the jokes were just not funny in that movie. And it was just I was just sitting there. When you watch Marvel movies, you're supposed to be excited. You're supposed to be, wowed. You know what I mean? That's how we was when we watched Guardians of the Galaxy and Thor Ragnarok. That's not what happened for Spider-Man: Homecoming. The exact opposite happened. We were bored to death. And I know that Chloe's going to probably get mad at me. I hate... this is my opinion, but...
It's just your opinion.
But it was boring as heck. It was just not that good of a movie. and you can just tell I don't like this movie. But it was just a disappointment. That's what it was. It was a major.
Yeah, more of a disappointment than a horribly made movie. It was a very well made movie.
It was okay.
It just wasn't. We had to put it on this list.
We had to.
All right. My number 9 was War of the Planet of the Apes. This one was no war. Well, there was a little war at the very end. I don't want to spoiler here, I guess. They did have a little bit of a war at the end, but it was just major anticlimax. Most of the movies was just them sneaking around a war camp. I liked the Woody Harrelson performance. I liked Caesar's performance. I liked the, what's his name that played Caesar? Circus. I liked his performance as that, but I mean, as far as a gripping war movie, it was not. So I'm just going to put it there. It ended up the trilogy, and I made my review, and I said it was okay, but it still wasn't anything to write home about.
Mine's the exact same. Not War for the Planet of the Apes.
I guess good minds think alike.
We just both think the same. And one thing that really baffled me about this movie was that there's no dialogue. Like, there's literally, like, no dialogue. There is some dialogue, but it's only, like, from Caesar, and it's only in certain scenes and from, like, the main bad guy. Other than that...
Because the other apes can't talk.
The other apes can't talk, so all you're doing is reading subtitles. So, really, you can watch this movie without even having the volume on your TV.
Yeah.
And... not only that, but after coming from the last movie, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, and how action-packed it was, and how people were yelling and pushing each other, and how intense it was, and you go, this one, it's just very slow, and like there's no dialogue, and it's just very calm, and it's like one action scene, and it's like very calm for like the next hour, and then all of a sudden, they get kidnapped at the end with that bad guy and stuff. That's when it started kind of getting okay, was at the end.
It took a long time.
It took a long time to get going. This was probably the only movie this year, or not this year, but last year. Keep forgetting that's 2018. But anyways, it was the only movie last year that I think I asked my dad that could we just leave, because it was boring. Like, cause it was just a very It was just
Yeah, definitely.
So, yeah.
All right. My number 8 is Transformers 5. Now, Andrew liked it way better than I did. I thought it was kind of a Star Wars ripoff with the C-3PO type
but
thing.
Still not
and
that
kind
great
of
of a movie.
D2 type character too. So, Chloe, I'm getting back at Andrew too. So, don't get mad at me on spot.
But be fair, it was a disappointment, and it's not even as close to as good as the other movies.
That's why I put it on my list. I debated on it, but I can't say, even though I did add this one to my collection, because I liked the special effects in it, and it did have some redeeming values at the very end of the movie. I thought were cool special effects, and with Optimus Prime finally getting in the movie. But as far as a great, and that Anthony Hopkins in it, he's the best actor in the whole movie, people. But he wasn't in enough to save the movie. But like I said, I just couldn't say that it was a great movie. So.
All right. Now my number 8 is Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle.
Okay.
This is my opinion, but I did not. I mean, like. Maybe it's because I watched the trailer before I went in there. Because I don't... If you're wanting to watch this movie, don't watch the trailer, because the trailer gives everything away. I watched the trailer, and it gave everything away. I went in there, and all the surprises were gone, and I was just sitting there. And to me, the jokes were not really that funny to me. I know for him, it was good, and I know for other people, it was good. But for me, I always think that the Jumanji original will always hold up better, way better than this.
Well, that's what I said in my original review. It doesn't touch the first one.
It doesn't. But
I still like it.
Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle. I don't know, but it's just it really. How can I describe it? It was like when they were trying too hard to be funny. It was like, have you ever watched a movie to where they're trying to be funny, but they're just trying too hard to be funny, that you're just like, oh yeah, this is not that great. And it was very predictable. It was very, very, it was way too easy for, like,
to win the game.
To win the game. It was way too easy. It was way, like, they really didn't even have to really try. I mean, like, they tried, but, like, there was some things that they could have done differently in it, and I really did not like it. I know that people are going to get under my skin for this, but I just did not like. I'm sorry, Dad, but I just did not think this movie was.
I loved it. Okay.
Sorry, I already knew about most of the big funny jokes before I even went in, so that's probably the big reason why it hampered my experience. So, if you are going to watch this movie, just do not watch the trailers, because if you do, you'll be like me and probably be not like it even close to as much as like my dad or other people.
So we move on. We don't want to make this a 40-hour video, so we're going to move on.
Sorry, I just kind of went on.
You got on a good rant there.
Yeah.
My next one is number 7 is Split. This one was a movie that it was well done movie, well acted. What's that guy's name that done the Split character?
What you call it? The same guy that did Professor X.
I can't think
of his name. We'll put a post up there.
Yeah. It's right on the tip of my tongue. But anyway, he,
James McAvoy.
James McAvoy. Sorry. Great actor. I think he did great split personality. I believed every personality he had. He felt like all of them, even from the woman character that he played. Oh, spoiler. But it was just a very depressing movie. After I found out what the premise of the movie was, after the girl's abducted, it just wasn't the kind of movie I'll ever watch again. And even though it was well made, I kind of didn't believe the ending of the movie either. But, just wasn't my cup of tea.
I can't believe there's a sequel coming out for that movie, but...
I know it.
Yeah. My number 7 would have to be Friend Request.
Oh, that's the best. That was my best movie. No, just kidding.
This one is not good, and it's not a good movie. But anyways, like, Friend Request has a good concept. That's why it's number 7. It's because it has a great concept, but fails to execute it. Because the concept is that there's a creepy girl with a creepy Facebook page, and if you follow her, she's like, you only have like one follow her thing, and if you unfollow her and stuff, all
heck's gonna break loose.
All heck is gonna break loose, and
because she's evil.
Because she is evil. And I thought that, like, well, that's interesting. And in some parts, yes, it was really interesting. Like there was parts in that movie to where, they had like this very dark and very, very gruesome music playing in the background in some scenes, and that you were like, what the frick is going on? It made you want to watch the movie. But once you sat down and watched the movie, the acting was not that great. The execution and the ending was awful. The ending was awful. I hated the ending of this movie. But especially the acting. The acting was bad too. It was just poorly executed, and they could have done it right. This could have been a great movie if they'd done it right, but they did not do it right and stuff. And I know there's a similar movie called Unfriended, which I have not watched, and I heard that one was better than Friend Request, so I don't know, I haven't watched that movie, but Friend Request is my number 7 for that reason.
Alright, number 6, Blade Runner 2049. Andrew did not watch this movie, and if he had, I'd probably brought him a pillow because he would have probably been asleep. But because it's like 3 hours long, and we saw with Harrison Ford in the last 40 minutes. I'm a science fiction nut. I told you during the review of this. It has nothing to do with science fiction. I love science fiction. I love the scenery. I love the special effects with the scenery. I loved all the new technology. That's the only reason I was mildly interested in this movie because I didn't like the original. There's no secret to that. I've never watched I watched the original Blade Runner several times. Could not get into it. This one I thought maybe I would the main actor besides Harrison Ford. What is his name? He did a very good job. I'm not saying the acting wasn't good all the way around. It was just very slow, very methodically slow. The story was okay. It just wasn't anything that was going to make you go back and watch it, and especially 3 hours long. It needed to be edited really, really heavily to shorten it down, maybe action pack a little bit, put Harrison Ford a little bit further in the beginning. I think would have helped, but that's why it's on my list as far down as it is.
All right.
Very disappointed.
6 will have to be Happy Death Day. Now this movie, it really, it was just, like it was just pure meh.
And he was looking forward to it.
I was looking forward to this movie too, forever.
The trailer looks awesome.
Cause the trailer, you watch the trailer and like, yeah, this is gonna be a good movie. You go in there, you sit down, and you're in a thing. You're getting ready to watch the movie, and you watch a full movie of disappointment. That's what it is.
Even came out on Friday 13th.
I know, and it was looking promising. It was had the Groundhog Day idea of her having to go through there, and the only way the different days is the only way that she can get out of those days things is that she figures out her killer. And I thought that concept was interesting, but like Friend Request, they did not execute that correctly, and it was just. Oh my gosh. And the way they done like the killer, like the reveal of the killer was way too weird. It was bad. It was just, That's all I have to say about that movie.
Okay. Alright. My number 5 is Happy Death Day. I just have to say I did not like this movie because of the motivation for the killer at the very end was very... What? Are you kidding me? This is why you're going to kill this girl? Even though the girl has plenty of enemies and she deserves a lot of what she gets in this movie, she's a very unlikable character at the beginning. And I do like the way she kind of, comes to reality and becomes a better person by the end of it. That was the one thing I did like about this movie. For one thing, it was PG-13, should have been a rated R. I think it maybe was filmed as a rated R and they cut everything out. I wish they would have just stuck with the story. And I didn't like the convoluted who the misdirection, the twist and turn at the end of who the killer was. Thought it was stupid. It's another one of those trailers where they showed everything in the trailer.
Yeah.
They showed even every little kill. They showed it, so I knew it was coming. So that's why I didn't like it.
Yeah. Number 5 would have to be Logan. The worst Marvel movie I've ever seen. Ever. This has to be the worst Marvel movie ever.
Yeah, but it showed him kill people, Andrew. It showed him get stabbed.
I don't give a flying frick. This movie sucks.
But they cussed, just like Deadpool did.
I don't care. Especially the girl actor in that didn't even freaking try. All she wanted to get was a paycheck. And not only that, but this was a big ruining end to Hugh Jackman's career as Wolverine. It was just a disrespect and big frick you to all the fans. It was awful. And everything that you can imagine being bad with a Marvel movie was bad with this movie. This is an awful movie. Logan is awful. It's boring. It's got unneeded scenes that are in there. It shouldn't have been rated R. And if you want to have a good capping end to the Wolverine series, you should have made it PG-13 in the first place. I'm mad at you, Fox, for making that movie. End of story.
This is Andrew's opinion, people.
So, I'm sorry. I'm just very angry at that movie.
All right. My number 4 is Friend Request. Oh, it sounds like familiar. Are we deja vu here? Mm-hmm. Basically, what he said, I won't go into big much details on it. It just looks like more of a TV movie type thing. Had potential, but it totally failed.
So, yeah. Number 4, Split. Like I said, it's just a huge disappointment. Again, it was, the only thing good about that movie is James McAvoy doing the personality thing. That was the only thing that was good about that movie. It was just very lackluster and mediocre. That's just it for that movie.
Okay. All right, number 3, Bye Bye Man, which went bye-bye at the box office because it totally was horrible. I'm a horror fan, I love horror movies, Friday the 13th, all of them, Halloween, all those type of movies. I thought this had potential because of what I saw in the previews, and the previews were scarier than the movie, people. Even had some scenes that wasn't even in the movie in the previews. So I don't like movies where they kind of bait and switch on that. I thought it was poorly done. I thought some of the laughable at the beginning of some of the killings were done. I just, people like standing at the door, see a guy come with a rifle, and they just like run around. I mean, wasn't very realistic. So I just can't recommend this movie on any level.
My number 3 is also The Bye-Bye Man. Just poorly acted. Just not good. Crap. There you go. That's my reasons.
All right, number 2. Mine is.
We're getting the bad territory now.
Number 2 is Logan. Logan ranks so much higher than yours, Andrew. All I can say after Andrew goes on like that, now this is my opinion, people. I know there's a lot of people out there that loved it, think it's to be the best movie of 2017, deserves an Oscar nomination or something for Patrick Stewart. That is your opinion. I have nothing bad to say about that. If you liked it, great. My opinion, it's kind of like Andrew's. It just was. I think it was just cashing in on the Deadpool stuff. You can put him in there, which Wolverine always cussed, but I mean he just did it a lot more because it was rated R.
And it was unnecessary.
What was very uncharacteristic was Professor X cussing. I know he was having we call that Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
And he was having problems, and he was not acting that. He acted that way because of that. But then just the added thing where you see the actual. What's his thing called? His claws actually going in and ripping people's guts out and head off and stuff. That didn't add anything to me. And I like gore. Don't get me wrong. I love a good gory scene. I like Friday 13 people. I like that.
Yeah.
But for Wolverine, it added nothing to his coolness for me. I think it was just overdone. And the little girl... People, all she did was kind of grunt and scream and cut people's heads off and do whatever. They think that she deserves an Oscar for this performance. She didn't talk till the very last 15, 30 minutes of the movie, and then she just blurted out stuff. And I thought it was just so. I don't know. From every level, it was very poor filmmaking to me. They said, "Oh, it was so cool. He looked so gritty. He was so old looking in it." And, he got, I'm sorry, these are all spoilers, people. He gets to die in it, or supposedly die, who knows. But I just cannot stress to you how much I dislike this movie. That's all I can say.
My number 2 worst movies. This is bad. Okay, we're getting the bad territory. Alien Covenant. Now, this is awful. This is the worst Alien movie I've ever seen. It's the worst horror movie I've ever seen. It's bad. It is awful. It's awful from every single inch that was made.
Tell me what you really think. Oh, sorry.
Sorry. But the people in this movie were so stupid. The acting was awful. The CGI for the aliens were awful. That one guy that plays this Magneto from the other guy Fassbender. I feel ashamed for him for being in this movie because I know it's not his fault. I know he tried his best. I know he did. The writing. Oh my God, the writing. Oh.
I don't think Andrew liked it.
Oh my God. There you go. That's it.
All right, my number 1 worst movie of 2017 is, guess what? Alien Covenant. As you've seen my review, you could tell I was looking really forward to it. It was on Andrew's birthday, May 19th. This movie came out.
Yeah.
I've been looking forward to this movie for a long time. I love the Alien franchise, at least the first 2. But my disappointment was very, very high. Like he said, the writing was atrocious. I don't know who wrote this movie, but maybe the writing was better, and when they directed, which Ridley Scott, I love Ridley Scott. He done the original Alien. He was awesome in that. You know, he did great now. I don't know, he's lost his touch or something because it didn't make any bit of sense. And people say, oh, horror films, you're not supposed to break down every little thing they do. I would have been if just one or two little stupid things he did. And you can refer back to my original review because I don't want to go into each one of them, but it's about a 30-minute video of all the bad stuff that they do. But they had several stupid things happen. These are scientist people. These are people going in space, lived in space, doing these stupid things. Beyond that, I thought the story, they totally wiped out the Prometheus stuff. So, I mean, here you built that up, and then you just wipe them out in the first 5 seconds of the movie. I didn't like that. I like Fassbender's performance, even though I didn't like the way the ending of it where he comes out on top. I didn't like that. So I'm not going to go into total details. I just hated this movie and beyond belief. It will never be in my collection. I don't care if there's a special edition, director's cut. There's no way that I'll ever add this. And you might have liked it. That's great. I did not.
Now, this number one. Okay. This number one has got to be, before I show it, or before I reveal it. This movie is so bad, it crushed my beliefs forever. This is now my worst movie I've ever seen. Ever. The worst movie I've ever seen. Ever. You thought Alien Covenant was bad. You thought all these other movies were bad. Oh, no. This one doesn't touch the one that's number one. And number one is the almighty and suckfest Cult of Chucky. That is awful. It's got bad writing. It's got bad kill scenes. Boring. It was only like an hour and 30 minutes, and it felt like eternity. And the weird stuff in that movie was just weird. There was some weird stuff that they did in this movie.
Yeah.
And it was guy that came back as Andy. He was shoehorned in. And from start to finish, it was just suckfest, total suckfest the entire time.
When you're wanting a movie to be over, that's pretty bad.
It's bad. And I thought nothing could get worse than Grown Ups 2. I thought Grown Ups 2 was going to be the worst movie, but somehow life proved me wrong. It proved me wrong. It proved me wrong that there is something worse than Grown Ups 2. And I never thought I would say that ever. So, yeah.
Well, I didn't put it on my list because it was a direct-to-video. And even though it was a movie in 2017, so Andrew put it on there, and I told him it was okay. But I did not add it to mine, even though I hated it just as much as he did, because it would have been up there high. It would have been probably 2 on mine. That's all for that. Do you want to do your honorable mentions of anything?
An honorable mention for my best list would, if I would have to make 11, it would have to be Get Out and let's see. Also for my honorable mention, I have Kong Skull Island as an honorable mention. I have Fast Furious 8 as an honorable mention. Pirates of the Caribbean, that's an honorable mention. And Despicable Me 3 is also an honorable mention. For me, for a dishonorable mention, I would have to put in Transformers 5, the last night, Annabelle Creation, Rings. No, also as another honorable mention, I would have to put Going in Style. And then that would be it. Yeah.
Okay, the only ones I got is Guilty Pleasures. My guilty pleasures were King Arthur, because I love the Arthur story, even though the movie wasn't the greatest, but I love that type of movie. Ghost in the Shell, that everybody pretty much panned. I liked it. It's my guilty pleasure. I know it has problems, and I understand that. Give me some Scarlett Johansson any day. Fast and Furious 8, it was my guilty pleasure. Wasn't as good as the 7th one, but it was good action, packed all the way through. Kong Skull Island, another guilty pleasure. So I think some of the characters weren't well done, but still, I love Kong. And Despicable Me 3, I thought it redeemed itself from Despicable Me 2.
Yeah.
Very guilty pleasure. So that's what wraps up our 2017 big finale here. We're in 2018, Andrew, and we just like to thank all the flock out there all around the world. And thank you for watching the Bad Raven and Andrew and our videos here. It means a lot to us for you just to watch our videos. It really right here touches me in the heart to even know people would want to watch my stuff. So we thank you for that. And we're hoping 2018 with our movie pass that we get to watch a whole bunch of more movies and have another big list for you in 2018. So we're going to leave you with that, but we want to say there is a Patreon account. Please, please support the Bad Raven. If you like my content, please support us. If you don't, I understand. Everybody's not got a lot of money. I understand that. But if you do want to help Brad Raven out, go to my Patreon account. It's in the description as far as over in the corner of my picture. Me and Andrew with Jason. It'll say a big P. You can click on it and it'll tell you how to do it. Also, remember,
Bad Raven is your friend.
The Bad Raven is your friend and I'll always be your friend. So we'll leave you with that and we'll say thank you for watching and we appreciate every view we get and every like we get and every subscription. And we'll talk to you later and goodbye.
Bye.